love into the reality that you're choosing, be nourished or worthy of receiving or loved, and allow it to manifest before your eyes. Like, this is how we manifest from the quantum.
You are listening to Turn Your Soul On Radio. I am your host and visionary doctor, Dr. Brandy Victory, and my mission is to assist high-achieving women in closing the gap between feeling unfulfilled to living a life on fire. It is time, ladies, to champion our own lives and turn ourselves on. This is Living Victoriously, ladies. This is how you turn your soul on.
Hello, you divine beings, blessed by grace. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm just sitting in this cozy little room. I've been sitting by the fire and just contemplating different aspects of my life. You know, lately I've kind of been going through the fire and the muck and crawling out of the gunk that I've been presented with to clear out of my space at this time in my life. I think we're always kind of on that journey of growth at least as conscious beings on this planet. And, you know, certain times of, you know, different seasons, different things arise. And, what is in my consciousness today is the experience of overgiving. I'm curious, do you find yourself overgiving? And how would you know if you are overgiving? I think for most of us, we have a sense of fatigue and get to a place of apathy or feeling grumpy or, you know, just feeling down and unappreciated, because unappreciation comes with overgiving, because in essence we are underappreciating ourselves. That's why we're doing it, trying to get appreciation or love or something else. You know, a lot of these things like fatigue and grumpiness and those kinds of things could also be nutritional issues or gut dysfunction. Even though you may be pooing every day and it's perfectly formed and all that good stuff, you know, a lot of people don't realize they have gastrointestinal issues like leaky gut and dysbiosis and things like that. So, but today I want to kind of stick to the energetic spiritual aspect of this experience. And there's, you know, these beliefs that we tend to hold, especially as women, in around, I'm not good enough, no one loves me, I'm not lovable, or I'm not lovable unless I XYZ, you know, work harder, be better, be prettier, you know, whatever the storyline is. And we all have these stories. And you know, the problem with this is that, first of all, we're not tapping into our source consciousness, into our completeness, into our wholeness, and living from that place on a day-to-day basis. And so what happens is we go and do our business and maybe make a plan, and we start living it, and then we do, and we get burnout. And beyond the burnout, we don't really let ourselves receive. And as women on this planet, we are born receivers. That's what we do. Our physical bodies are receivers. And whenever we give, we actually create space to receive. But overgiving and not allowing ourselves to be in the space of receiving depletes our reserves. And so when your reserves are depleted, you can't show up in your power. You can't show up as the best you possible. You can't show up in your greatest purpose when you're depleting your reserves. And then overlay depletion with the belief that you don't deserve nourishment, and that vibrational frequency actually attracts people and circumstances that will continue to feed your story. So if your story is, oh, I'm a victim, you know, or no one loves me, or I'm not lovable, or I'm not good enough, or I'm not worthy of deserving love or nourishment, all these storylines. If those are storylines that are underlying your reason for overgiving, your depletion plus that storyline creates this vibrational frequency that continues to recreate the situation. So you're going to attract people into your life that will prove to you that you're not lovable, that you're not worthy, that you're not good enough, that you don't deserve any of these things or nourishment. You will attract circumstances into your life that will prove to you that you're not worthy, you're not lovable, all the stuff, right? We just keep creating experiences to prove to ourselves the beliefs that we hold about ourselves. So then you have to ask yourself, do I want to continue to experience my life in this way? Do I want to continue living disempowered and feeling depleted and feeling unworthy and attracting these circumstances and people who empower my victim story? Now, I'm sure that you're going to say, well, of course, no, I don't want to continue living this. And here's the kicker. All right, so when you decide that you want to quit living a certain storyline, you must be vigilant and pay attention to see if you're actually willing to change the story. See, the story's not going to change on its own. You have to actually change it yourself. And the change comes from within. It's not changing. It's not changing jobs, changing friends, changing locations. It's none of that. It's actually changing yourself from the inside out. And last time we had a conversation, we talked about the spiritual dimension of cleansing and how to be successful at doing our spiritual work. And that takes paying vigilant attention. You have to, if you want that to change, you have to pay attention, okay? So here's the thing. To pay attention, we have to contemplate throughout the day, in the morning, in our meditation, through every single interaction, through every single activity, whatever it is we're doing throughout the day, like this, have your observer self, the one that is above your ego, that's watching everything you do, be aware of your observer. So you have the observer that's observing the observer and be aware of your observer who is taking notes. Okay. So there's no judgment around this. It's not like from your ego space that's in this lower vibrational frequency material plane. It's more from your higher frequency that's in a higher vibration that doesn't have judgment. So you're paying attention and you're contemplating all your interactions and activities. And you ask yourself on a continual basis, am I giving my power away? Am I allowing nourishment? Am I allowing love? When someone offers to open a door for you or help you in some way, can you feel deep in your soul the gratitude and worthiness arise from within? You may even feel a lightness of being when you're in that place. And this is where it all happens, right? So if we are in this victim story and having all these circumstances and people in our lives that keep proving to us that we aren't worthy or are unlovable or whatever, then we can't just quit being friends with those people and expect it to change, because your next group of people or your next job or your next house or your next location is going to bring all your storyline with you, and you're going to just find it there. We were out in our little community up here having dinner, and a lady walked up to me and she's like, "Oh, you're Dr. Brandy Victory." And I'm like, "Yeah." And she just has started this conversation with me. I'd not ever met her, but apparently she was a neighbor in our area. And she was telling us this story about how she's about to move to Paonia, which is this really exquisite little community, very tiny community in Colorado, right next, kind of near Crested Butte, which is where I plan on buying property when I get my student loans paid off, because it's so beautiful there. I would totally move there. But as her story progressed, she was just telling us about how much she was despised being here. She despised the school system. She despised all these things about being here. And as soon as she left, Roger and I both looked at each other and we were just like, yeah, well, it's interesting because I'm sure she's going to find that same story wherever she goes. It doesn't matter if you're in Peonia or not. So, yeah, and I'm just sharing that with you because you are everywhere you go. And until you change what's happening on the inside, till you really realign yourself with a higher vibration, align yourself to something greater, align yourself to the frequency that you are choosing to create in this world, in your experience, nothing's going to change. And you can realign yourself from the inside out and keep the same friends, keep the same house, keep the same school system, keep everything the same. And you will notice that things appear different. Things show up differently. People start relating to you differently. Different circumstances arise into your experience, into your existence. You know, it's one of those things. I find myself. I've been recently trapped in the onslaught of the masculine of trying to get all my business done and get this done and get that done and build this website and write these emails and do these podcasts and it's a lot. I'm really truly handling so much right now, and it was just overwhelming me, and I was getting stuck, and I started to see this storyline of just stressed out Brandy, work, having no fun, wanting to run away to Thailand or wherever, and having to step back and look at that and go, okay, what are you doing? What are you creating? And coming to the realization, I have to say pretty quickly, that if I want to have a specific experience in my life, peace, well-being, relaxation, fun, freedom, creativity, if this is what I want my experience to be, I have to show up as that person now. And in order to show up as that person now, I have to shift my frequency from the inside out. Otherwise, I'm pushing against a frequency, because everything is energy. Every experience you have, every feeling you have, everything that you do has an energetic blueprint. Everything is energetic before it is physical. So if we go back and we start to shift the energetic frequency or the energetic blueprint on an energetic level, if we shift the energetics, then the physical expression changes. And that can all happen in your same location, with your same friends, with your family, in the same house, and all that good stuff. So just know and have faith in and feel into your depth of understanding on a soul level of this truth, of the truth that you have the power to create change in your life, and it doesn't happen on the physical plane. The change doesn't happen. You don't affect change on the physical plane if you want it to be long lasting. You affect change in the spirit. You affect change in the energetics. You go back to the source with a capital S, and consciousness with a capital C, and the all with a capital T-A, whatever you want to call it, God, universe. You go back to the highest frequency that exists, where oneness and all things emanate from, and all beings have a connection to, and go back to that and begin weaving that back into your life. Begin allowing that connection to lift up your vibration, to lift up your frequency, to lift up the energetics of your experience, so that your physical reality can change. The other thing you may want to do is create affirmations around this stuff and put them all around your house. I have affirmations. I love affirmations. I think it's important because for me, I have so much going on in my life that if I don't constantly remind myself with affirmations stuck on my refrigerator and things like that, if I don't constantly remind myself that, oh yeah, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm doing, then I forget and I get stuck back in my old storyline. And then before I know it, I'm depressed and upset again. And then I'm like, what's wrong with me? And I've forgotten that I'm on this path of change. So yes, you can go back and affect change on the energetics. And no, we live in a physical world. And being in this physical world has a lot of power. We've given it so much power that it commonly and very easily, at least for most of us, can overwhelm our understanding and our realization of connection to source, our understanding and our realization of a connection to ourself and to our power. So the trappings of the physical can be changed, and it takes time and it takes action and it takes creativity and it takes being willing to step back into that place of connection from within over and over and over and over again. And then you just keep coming back to it, and you just keep coming back to it. So the affirmations assist in that process. So I see the affirmation, I'm like, oh yeah, I just step back for just like 2 seconds. I close my eyes. Oh yeah, I'm allowing myself to create wealth. Oh yeah, I am a great receiver. Oh yeah, I am loved in my perfection just as I am, right? And then just put these as reminders all over your all over your house, or put it as some people have even used put it as screensavers on their computer or on their phone. I also have a lot of people who like to set alarms throughout the day, and it reminds them to, oh yeah, let me check in and remind myself, I am great, I am loved, I am nourished, I allow these things into my life. And then just whatever you have to do to continue to bring this into your day-to-day experience throughout the day. All right. So if you want change every day throughout the day, you have to feel into the possibility, connect into source, and rise above the confines and limitations of your perceived reality. Your perceived reality is your storyline that you keep recreating. And you keep doing this just because this is, you're on kind of on automatic pilot. All right. And we are, the things that we're doing today are a reflection of our belief systems and are reflections of our programs and patterns from the past and what we've learned from the past. And so that's how we live our life now. Okay. So if you want to change it, you just have to be willing on a frequent basis throughout the day to shift into that higher vibrational state, to move from the state of victimhood or anger or disappointment into a state of love. And just allowing yourself to love into what is. Now, again, I would recommend just closing your eyes for a second and disconnecting from the physical, disconnecting from whatever it is you're doing, whether it's on your computer, eating, talking to your daughter, whatever it is, and just go close your eyes for just a second and rise up, connect into that source, connect into the love of what is, connect into yourself, connect into that something greater that is holding space and the place from which everything is created. Love into the reality that you're choosing, be nourished or worthy of receiving or loved, and allow it to manifest before your eyes. Like, this is how we manifest from the quantum. Allow yourself to receive and know it can be now. And one of the things that you may want to bring into practice is something, I like to use is called mudras. And mudras are different positions that you can put the hands that actually, they kind of complete circuits. You can think of it as completing circuits. And when we complete a circuit, that stimulates certain things depending on what circuit we're completing. Okay, so this particular mudra is you basically take your thumb and your ring finger, the tip of your thumb and the tip of your ring finger, and put them together in a circle, kind of like an OK sign, but you're actually using the ring finger and the thumb, and then the other three fingers extend out straight. And you do that on both hands. So the ring finger and the tip of the ring finger and the tip of the thumb touch on both hands, and all the other fingers extend out straight. And then you can just use that mudra and while you're meditating, just take 5, 10, 15 minutes, whatever you do, and then drop in. This actually stimulates the root chakra. And when we stimulate the root chakra, it brings in the energy of earth. So when we're meditating, this is a really great thing to do because we tend to meditate and go up out of our body, and we can get lost in the ethers or kind of go out of consciousness a bit. But if we're holding this mudra, then we're also stimulating the earth energy in our body. So we're balancing out spirit, energetics, and earth, which is the earth is where we create. And so just close your eyes for a second and just allow yourself to drop in to your body. Allow yourself to deepen your breath. And as you're holding these mudras, this mudra, you allow yourself to drop a grounding cord down to the center of the earth. And there's so many different ways you can do this. And, these are the kinds of things that I teach people in the Ignite Your Life workshop and in the retreats that we're doing. But just however it feels good for you in this moment, just drop a cord down, a grounding cord from your pelvis, from your tailbone. I personally like to use a belt around my pelvis, and it goes straight down to the center of the earth and ties into a beautiful crystal in the center of the earth. And then when you're grounded in, empower your auric field. And what I mean by that is that, first of all, you're way bigger than your physical body. You are not your physical body. Your physical body is a transporter for your spirit. So when we empower or tap into our auric field, we're actually tapping into the outer edges of the expansion and extension of our spirit. So just imagine this big bubble around your body that encapsulates all of you, and you can bring it in closer to your body, you can extend it out to your body, but just make sure it goes all around and through the back and around all the sides and everything. So you're encapsulated in this beautiful bubble that has integrity, okay? It has boundaries, and it's all around you, and it's containing you. And you can just take a nice deep breath. And as you take a deep breath in, imagine that the earth energy is coming up through your feet, preferably having your feet on the floor, the earth energy coming up your legs and into your hips and into your pelvis and all the way up through the top of your head out into the cosmos. And pause with your breath. And as you exhale, like golden rain, the earth energy washes through your body, returns to the earth. It's a renewing force that creates balance. And there's a balance between taking and giving. Imagine your pelvic bowl is a catch basin, and it overflows with this golden energy. So as that golden rain washes through your entire body, it drops into your pelvic bowl, and as your pelvic bowl becomes full, it overflows into the rest of your body. It overflows and continues to fill up your auric field, your space, your bubble. And your whole entire being is washed over by this golden light. And as you're doing this, do this, several rounds. You're going to inhale up, earth energy out to the cosmos, pause at the top, exhale down, allow that golden rain to wash through every part of you, filling your pelvic bowl up. This is where your root chakra resides, filling up your auric space. And then do that like 5, 6, 10, I don't know, however many rounds it feels really good. And while you're doing that, you can even say to yourself a mantra, or say to yourself an affirmation, or just say something like, as I'm inhaling, I'm breathing up the power of the earth, which creates stability and security and sustainability. It gives me self-confidence and self-assurance. And as I exhale down, the cosmos and the divine bring me enthusiasm and pleasure and love and joy. all these things that you want to embody. So it doesn't matter. You can't do this wrong. Just know that when you take time to do these kinds of practices every day or multiple times throughout the day, that is how you begin to elicit change in your world. That is how you begin to move out of the space of victimhood or lack or unworthiness into the space of empowerment and fulfillment and abundance and love and nourishment. So it's not necessarily an easy thing to do, but it's certainly not a hard thing to do. The hard part is giving yourself the space to do these kinds of practices. I'm going to leave you with that. I hope you all have the most glorious, beautiful, divinely blessed day. I would love to hear how you're blessed throughout your day, or how these practices are helping you grow or helping your experience in your physical world be more fantastic and beautiful and divine. So yeah, feel free to reach out. The other thing I would love is if you know a sister who could benefit from these kinds of practices, please share this episode with her. The more we share this with women, the more women who are doing these practices, the faster we bring light into our planet. And we need this so badly right now. We need the stability. We need the self-assurance. We need the light. So bring it in, share it with your friends. Love you, ladies. Last thing, I do want to let you know that we're rescheduling the Ignite Your Life workshop. So I'm so excited to let you know that's coming up in March. So stay tuned. I will give you a for sure date. Should be figuring that all out today. I just want to connect in with the women who have already committed to the workshop that got canceled because of the snow. I want to make sure that they can all make it on the date that we choose. So once I hear back from them, I will let you know. But we will be doing these kinds of practices and more. So if you're loving this, come on and join us. We'd love to have you. All right, ladies, do whatever it takes to turn your soul on.